ever get that feeling? Like, your money's the boss telling you what you can and can't do.
Oh, absolutely. It's super common. People feel controlled by it.
Yeah, but what if we kind of flip that? What if money's not this big, scary thing, but, well, just a tool?
Like a hammer.
Exactly, like a hammer, a skilled carpenter. They build amazing things with it. But someone who, doesn't know how to use it.
Yeah, could make a mess. Or worse.
Right. Things could get messy.
Yeah, and that hammer idea, that's really what we want to dig into today, specifically for you listening. We've got some great lessons here, breaking down the basics, the fundamentals of money.
The goal being.
Simple, really, to help you go from feeling like money pushes you around to you being the one holding the reins, confidently.
Okay, cool. So consider this like your fast track to building that solid financial base.
Exactly. We're pulling the key stuff from material that's all about boosting financial know-how.
All right, so back to the hammer. Let's unpack that a bit more. The experienced builder versus the total newbie.
Worlds apart, right? The results they get are going to be completely different.
Totally.
And that points to something pretty central. We all pick up these beliefs about money, don't we?
Oh,
Things
yeah, money doesn't grow on trees.
that one. Or rich people are greedy, or you just got to work super, super hard.
Grind till you drop.
Right. And look, maybe there's a tiny grain of truth somewhere in some of them, but mostly they give you an incomplete picture, often a kind of disempowering one.
Yeah, it feels like it often boils down to this. We're taught how to trade our time for money, but nobody really sits us down and explains how money itself actually works.
It's like learning to swing that hammer really hard, but having no clue how a building actually fits together,
Yeah.
the principles behind it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where getting financially literate. That's where it comes in. It's crucial.
Tony Robbins had that quote right about resourcefulness.
Yes. It's not about your resources. It's about your resourcefulness. Perfect.
Yeah.
And here, that resourcefulness, it's all about understanding how money works. It is financial education.
Okay. So money's a tool. Got it. But what is it? Like, fundamentally, forget the notes and coins for a second.
That's such a key question. We get hung up on the physical stuff, the numbers on the screen, but really at its core, money's just how we swap value.
Like an agreed upon IOU.
Exactly. A
Yeah.
universally accepted IOU. That's one function, a medium of exchange. Then it lets us store value. Ideally, what you earn today should buy something similar later. That's the store of value bit.
Okay, makes sense.
And third, it's a yardstick, a unit of account. It lets us compare the value of totally different things. A company's profit, how much bread costs, what you owe on a loan, all measured using money.
Huh. It's almost like a language then.
That's a great way to put it.
We all agree apple means that crunchy fruit, so we can talk about apples. Money's like the agreed language for value.
Fantastic parallel. And just like messing up grammar leads to confusion,
Right.
not understanding basic financial grammar can lead to real problems. Bad loans, not saving enough, getting stuck in debt cycles. So we want to give you that basic financial grammar so you can navigate things safely.
Okay. So if understanding money is like learning a language, then getting financially literate, that's got to be like getting a superpower, right?
It honestly can feel like that. Imagine two people, okay? Person one, very diligent, saves every spare bit of cash, tucks it under the mattress, feels secure.
Okay. Old school.
Person two takes a bit of time, learns about things like compound interest, maybe cautiously puts money into some diversified investments, spreading the risk.
Right. Not all eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Now, fast forward, say, 20 years. Who do you think is going to be in a stronger financial spot?
Well, it seems pretty clear, doesn't it? The one who made their money work for them. It's that snowball thing you mentioned.
Precisely. Knowledge in finance, it really multiplies your money. Just like reading makes your brain stronger, understanding finance strengthens your financial future, opens doors.
Okay, I'm sold. How do we start building this superpower? Because honestly, finance feels huge. Overwhelming sometimes.
Oh, totally. It can feel like trying to drink from a fire hose.
Yeah.
And the secret really is not to try and drink it all at once. Avoid that overwhelmed feeling.
Yeah.
Start small. Really small, manageable steps.
Like what?
Like, just start tracking where your money actually goes right now. No judgment, just awareness. Try to scrape together a small emergency fund. Even a few $100 makes a difference. A little safety net.
Okay, that feels doable.
And crucially, start wrapping your head around the difference between saving and investing. They're not the same thing.
Right. You mentioned the power of starting small earlier. Can you give us a really concrete example, like how small can make a big difference?
Absolutely. Picture this.
Yeah.
You decide, okay, I'm going to save just $5 a day. That's it.
Like skipping a fancy coffee, maybe?
Exactly. That doesn't sound like much, right? But that's about $150 a month. Now, if you consistently invest that $150, and let's say you get an average return of 8% a year over 30 years.
Which is kind of like a historical average for stocks, roughly.
Yeah, a reasonable long-term average.
Sure.
So obviously no guarantees. But run those numbers. That $5 a day habit, over 30 years, it could grow to over $200,000.
Wow, okay. That really changes things. $200,000 from $5 a day?
It's the power of consistency and time. Small actions, big impact.
All right, so let's nail down that difference you mentioned. Saving versus investing. What's the core distinction?
Okay, think of saving like this. It's for safety, security, and your shorter-term needs. Money for rent, groceries, that emergency fund we talked about. The main goal, keep it safe, keep it accessible.
Got it. Safety first.
Investing, though, that's different. That's putting your money to work with the aim of growth over the long term.
So buying stocks, maybe bonds, real estate.
Exactly. Stuff that has the potential to increase in value. Now, investing always comes with some risk. You have to accept that. But it also offers the potential for much greater returns than just saving.
Okay. So saving is like building a financial shield,
Yeah.
protecting what you have now.
Nice. Yeah, a shield. Good analogy.
And investing is more like planting seeds, hoping they grow into big trees later on.
Perfect visualization. The shield for immediate security, the seeds for future growth. Both vital, but different jobs.
Cool. Now, compound interest, you mentioned it earlier. I've heard people call it like magic or something. What's the deal? Why is it so powerful?
Yeah, Einstein supposedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. Whether he actually said it or not, this sentiment is right. It is incredibly powerful.
How does it work?
Basically, you earn interest not just on your original money, the principal, but also on the interest that your money has already earned.
So interest on interest.
Exactly. Your money starts making money, and then that money starts making more money. It's not linear growth, it's exponential. Like that snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and faster.
Okay, exponential. That sounds good. You had a story, right? Maria and Kevin?
Ah, yes, Maria and Kevin. Great illustration. So Maria starts investing $200 a month. Pretty modest. She starts at age 25. Her friend, Kevin, maybe feels he has more cash later, so he starts investing $400 a month, double Maria's amount.
Yeah.
But he waits until he's 35.
Right, 10 years later, but double the money each month.
Exactly. Now, fast forward. They both turn 65. Who do you reckon has more money?
Based on the compounding thing. The time matters more, right? So, Maria, even though she put in less each month.
You got it. Maria wins by a significant margin that extra decade she had. It gave her money so much more time for the compounding to work its magic. The returns generated more returns over and over.
Wow. So Kevin's extra cash couldn't make up for the lost time.
Nope. The key takeaway is crystal clear. Don't wait. Start now. Even small amounts started early can make a massive difference down the road. Time is your biggest ally in investing.
Okay. Start early. Got it. But let's talk about risk. That word scares people when it comes to investing. Losing money.
Totally natural.
Yeah.
Fear of loss is a powerful human emotion. But here's the flip side, and this is really important for you to grasp. Trying to avoid all risk. That can actually be the biggest risk of all. Think about inflation. The cost of everything generally goes up over time.
Yeah, stuff gets more expensive.
So if your money is just sitting there, maybe in a super low interest savings account, it's actually losing purchasing power every single year. It buys less and less. That's a risk.
Huh. So doing nothing is actually losing ground. That's a risk I hadn't really thought about.
Precisely. We can break down financial risk into a few types. There's market risk, the normal ups and downs of investments like stocks. It happens.
Okay.
Then inflation risk, like we just said, your money losing value over time if it doesn't grow.
Right.
And then there's opportunity risk, the risk of missing out on potential growth because you were too scared to invest at all. You just stood still.
Brian Tracy said something about that, didn't he?
He did. The greatest risk is standing still. Powerful stuff.
It really is. Okay, so risk isn't something to eliminate, but something to understand and manage.
Exactly. And that leads us perfectly into diversification.
See, don't put all your eggs in one basket thing.
That's the classic way to put it. It's a fundamental risk management strategy. Think of a farmer.
Right, you mentioned this. One crop gets wiped out, disaster. Multiple crops.
Exactly. If one crop fails due to weather or disease, the others might still do okay. The farmer's whole livelihood isn't wiped out.
So how does that apply to our money? How do we diversify?
Well, you spread your money across different types of investments, like some in stocks, some in bonds, maybe some in real estate, different asset classes, they call them.
Okay, mix it up.
And you diversify within those classes too.
Right.
So if you buy stocks, don't just buy stock in one company or one industry. Spread it across different sectors, technology, healthcare, consumer goods, whatever.
So you're not overly reliant on one thing doing well.
Precisely. It smooths out the ride. And generally, it's wise to avoid just chasing the latest hot trend. Aim for a balanced mix. Because, honestly, even the experts can't perfectly predict the market. Diversification is about being prepared for whatever happens.
Preparation, not prediction. I like that.
Okay, we've covered earning, saving, investing, managing risk. Now, the big one for a lot of people, debt. It causes so much stress.
It really can. Debt is, well, it's like fire. It can be incredibly useful for cook your food, heat your home. But if you don't handle it carefully, with respect, it can burn your whole house down.
Oof. Okay, good analogy. So how do we handle it carefully? Are there different kinds of debt fire?
Generally, yeah. We often talk about good debt and bad debt. Good debt is usually borrowing for things that can potentially increase your net worth or future income.
Like a mortgage, buying a house.
Exactly. A house is typically an asset that appreciates. Or student loans investing in your education can boost your earning power significantly. Maybe a carefully planned business loan to generate income.
But even those need careful handling, right?
Absolutely. You still need to borrow responsibly, make sure you can afford the payments. Good debt can turn bad if you overextend yourself.
Okay, so what's definitely bad debt?
Yeah.
The dangerous fire. Bad debt is typically the high-interest kind, used for things that don't build wealth or often just depreciate quickly. Think high-interest credit card balances carrying over month after month.
Right. Paying interest on stuff you already consumed.
Exactly. Or personal loans for, say, a fancy vacation or luxury items. Or those payday loans, they often have astronomically high interest rates. They trap people.
You told a story about Jacob and a TV.
Ah, yes. Jacob buys a $2,000 TV on his credit card. Nice TV. But he only makes the minimum payments.
Which barely touches the principal, right? Mostly interest.
Exactly. So after, say, 3 years of minimum payments, because of all the compound interest working against him, he ends up paying something like $3,500 for that $2,000 TV.
Wow, $1,500 is gone to interest.
That's the cost of bad debt. It's a powerful reminder. Debt is borrowing from your future self. Use it wisely, thoughtfully, for things that will hopefully benefit future you.
Okay, so for someone listening who has debt right now, maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed by it, what are the steps? How do they start fighting that fire?
First things first. You got to face it. Get a clear, honest picture. List out all your debts, who you owe, how much you owe, and crucially, what's the interest rate on each one.
Knowledge is power, even if it's scary knowledge.
It is. Then, the most common effective strategy is the avalanche method. You keep making minimum payments on everything, but you throw every extra penny you can find at the debt with the highest interest rate first.
Attack the most expensive debt.
Exactly. Once that one's gone, you take all the money you were paying on it, minimum plus extra, and attack the next highest interest rate debt. Creates a snowball effect, but this time working for you.
Okay, the avalanche method. Makes sense. What else?
Stop digging the hole deeper. Avoid taking on new unnecessary debt while you're trying to pay off the old stuff. And maybe explore options. Can you negotiate a lower rate? Could refinancing make sense? Look into it.
Okay, that sounds like a solid plan. What's one tiny thing someone could do, like right now, today?
Grab a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. Write down your top 3 debts, probably the ones with the highest interest rates. Just seeing them written down is a step. Then commit. Commit to paying just a little bit extra, even $10 or $20, on the highest interest one this month.
Just start the momentum.
Exactly. That small action. That's you starting to take back control. It's powerful.
Okay. Managing debt. Huge. Now, budgeting. Ugh, the B word. People hate it. Sounds so restrictive, like financial jail.
Yeah, it gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's a total misunderstanding. A budget isn't about restriction, it's about freedom.
Freedom? How?
It's your plan. It tells your money where you want it to go. Instead of you wondering where it all vanished at the end of the month, it puts you in the driver's seat.
Okay, I like the sound of that better. How do you make a budget that doesn't feel like torture?
Start simple. A really popular framework is the 50-30-20 rule. It's a guideline, not rigid law.
50-30-20. What's that breakdown?
Roughly 50% of your after-tax income goes to needs, rent, or mortgage, utilities, groceries, essential transport, insurance. Stuff you gotta have.
Okay, the essentials.
About 30% goes to wants, entertainment, eating out, hobbies, new clothes you don't strictly need, streaming services, that kind of stuff.
The fun stuff.
Right. And the remaining 20%. That goes towards savings and paying down debt, building that emergency fund, investing for the future, attacking that high-interest debt.
50 needs, 30 wants, 20 savings and debt. Okay, that sounds manageable, less scary.
It's a starting point.
Yeah.
Adjust it to fit your life, but it gives you buckets to aim for.
Any practical tips for actually getting started with budgeting? Like day one?
Try this little experiment. Get a free budgeting app or just use a notebook. For 1 week, just 7 days, track every single dollar you spend. Everything.
Even the small stuff, the coffee, the vending machine snack.
Especially the small stuff. You might be absolutely amazed where the money is actually going. Those little leaks can add up fast.
Okay, the latte factor and all that.
Exactly. Just doing that tracking exercise for a week, it creates massive awareness. And awareness is always, always the first step to taking control. You can't change what you don't acknowledge.
Awareness. Right. Okay, so we're aware. We have a budget framework. What's next for really taking charge?
Goals.
Yeah.
You need to know where you're going. If you don't have a destination for your money, well, any road will get you somewhere, but probably not where you actually want it to be.
So not just vague ideas like be rich or save more.
Exactly. You need clear, well-defined goals. People talk about SMART goals. Heard of those?
Vaguely. Specific,
Yeah.
measurable, something, something.
Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. SMART.
Ah, okay. Can you give an example? A SMART financial goal.
Sure. Instead of I want to save more, a SMART goal is I will save $1,000, specific, measurable, in a dedicated high-yield savings account. Achievable, realistic within the next 6 months. Time-bound.
Okay, that's much clearer, more concrete.
Or I will pay off my $3,000 credit card balance, specific, measurable, by making extra payments of $250 per month. Achievable, realistic, by the end of next year. Time-bound.
Got it. Or for investing.
I will automatically invest $200 per month, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, into a low-cost index fund starting this month. Time-bound. See, you give your money a specific mission.
A job description for your dollars.
Exactly. Otherwise, they just kind of wander off aimlessly. Goals give them direction.
Okay, this is all great practical stuff, but
Yeah.
mindset, we touched on it earlier. How much does the way we think about money actually impact things?
Oh, massively. Hugely. Your mindset is like the filter, the lens through which you see everything related to money.
How so?
Remember the two people facing the same opportunity?
Yeah, I can't afford it versus how can I afford it?
Right. One sees a wall, the other sees a challenge, a puzzle to solve. That difference in initial thought, that's mindset. It dictates the actions you take or don't take.
So a negative mindset can literally hold you back financially.
Absolutely. Denzel Washington said, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. It's the same with money. If you have these deep-seated limiting beliefs.
Like money is evil or I'll never be good with money.
Exactly. Or it's too hard. It's only for certain people. If you truly believe those things, you might unconsciously sabotage yourself. You won't see opportunities or you'll shy away from them. Your beliefs become your reality.
Wow. Okay, so how do we reprogram that? How do we cultivate a wealth mindset?
It's a process, not an overnight switch. First step is awareness again. Identify those limiting beliefs when they pop up.
Catch yourself thinking them.
Yes. And then challenge them. Actively replace them. If you catch yourself thinking, I'm just bad with money, stop. Replace it with, I am learning to manage my money effectively. Or, I am capable of building wealth. Say it, write it down.
Okay, conscious replacement.
Second, watch your inputs. Surround yourself with positive financial influences. Listen to podcasts like this one. Read books by people with abundance mindsets. Limit exposure to negativity and scarcity thinking, whether it's from people or media.
Change your environment, change your mind.
It helps tremendously. And third, and this is really important, celebrate the small wins.
We mentioned this with debt.
Yes. Did you stick to your budget this week? Did you save that extra $50? Did you pay off a small debt? Acknowledge it. Feel good about it. Pat yourself on the back. This reinforces the positive behavior and builds momentum. It rewires your brain to associate positive feelings with good money habits.
I love that. Celebrate the progress, not just perfection. Okay, so mindset is key. Now, wealth itself, when we hear wealthy, we usually picture, mansions, yachts, huge piles of cash. Is that really what it's about?
For some, maybe. But I think true wealth, the kind that really matters, it's less about the sheer amount of money and more about freedom. Yeah. freedom of choice, having options, having control over your time. Ask yourself this, really think about it. If money wasn't the main factor, how would you spend your days? What would you do?
Travel more, maybe. Spend more time with family. Work on a passion project.
Exactly. That's the real goal for most people, isn't it? The options that money provides. Someone with, say, a comfortable but not extravagant amount of money, but who has total control over their schedule and lives life on their terms. I'd argue they're far wealthier than someone with millions who feels trapped in a life they don't enjoy.
That really shifts the perspective. It's about quality of life, control, options, not just accumulation.
Precisely. You told that story about the two builders, Sam and Leo.
Ah, yeah, the loud versus quiet wealth.
Exactly. Sam looked flashy, always had the latest stuff, fancy dinners. Looked successful. Leo lived more simply, focused on consistently saving, investing, building assets quietly.
And long term.
Long term, Sam was drowning in debt from keeping up appearances. Leo, he owned income properties, had real security, and most importantly, had the freedom to choose how he spent his time. He built quiet, sustainable wealth. Sam chased a loud lifestyle that wasn't sustainable. It's a choice, really. Which path do you want to build for yourself?
Wow. That's powerful. So it's not enough just to want financial freedom. We have to actively build it through habits.
Yes, hope is a starting point, maybe gets you motivated, but habits, consistent actions, that's what actually builds the house. That's what creates lasting change.
Okay, so give us some of those cornerstone habits. What can people listening start doing, like daily or weekly?
Okay, 5 practical habits for financial peace. 1, glance at your bank accounts daily, just 60 seconds. Builds awareness, reduces surprises.
Okay, daily check-in.
2, read 10 pages of a money book or article each week. Just 10 pages. Knowledge compounds, remember.
Learning, got it.
3, automate your savings and investments. Pay yourself first, automatically. Set it up so money moves to savings or investments right when you get paid, before you can spend it.
Made it effortless.
Exactly. 4, have a weekly money chat with a partner, a trusted friend, whoever. Just talk about bills, challenges, progress. Keeps it top of mind, provides support.
Talk about money, normalize it.
Yes. And 5, visualize your goals weekly. Spend a few minutes really picturing what achieving your goals looks like and feels like. Debt-free life, buying that house, feel it. It keeps you motivated.
Visualize the win.
And remember the key with habits. Consistency beats perfection every single time. Don't beat yourself up if you slip up. Just get back on track.
Great habits. Practical. Okay, another big piece you mentioned was creating multiple income streams, not relying on just one paycheck.
Yeah, that's a big one for building resilience. Relying on just one income source, usually job, leaves you vulnerable. What if you lose that job? What if the industry changes?
Right. All your eggs in one basket again, financially speaking.
Exactly. Having multiple streams of income gives you security, a safety net. And it can also seriously speed up reaching your financial goals.
Okay, what kinds of streams are there beyond just the main job?
Well, there's your earned income, your salary, freelance work. Then there's investment income, dividends from stocks, interest from bonds, maybe rent from property.
Yep.
Then passive income, things like royalties from a book or music, income from an online course you created once, maybe affiliate marketing. Takes work up front, but then generates income with less active effort later.
The dream, right? Passive income.
It takes work. And finally, business income, profit from a side hustle, an online store, a service you offer.
That sounds like a lot. Where does someone even begin with creating extra income?
Don't try to do it all. That's the mistake people make. Pick one thing that interests you or uses skills you already have. Start really small, learn about it, test it out.
Like Sarah and her Etsy store example.
Perfect example. She started small, selling digital planners. Made maybe $100 her first month. But she kept learning, improving, working at it consistently. A couple of years later, an extra $1,500 a month. It's usually about gradual, consistent effort, not overnight riches.
Start small, stay consistent. Seems to be a theme here.
It really is.
Okay, and the final point you brought up was really interesting. The value of teaching this stuff to others. Sharing what you learn.
It's surprisingly powerful. When you teach something, you reinforce it for yourself. You have to understand it well enough to explain it simply. It clarifies your own thinking.
Joe Dispenza said something about that.
Yeah, the best way to learn something deeply is to teach it to someone else. It really cements the knowledge in your own brain.
And you don't have to be some guru to do it, right?
Absolutely not. You don't need to be an expert. Just share what you're learning. Talk to your kids about saving. Explain compound interest to a friend. Recommend a helpful book or this deep dive. Be honest about your own journey. That authenticity is often more inspiring than pretending you have all the answers.
Sharing the journey, I like that. It builds community too.
Exactly.
Okay. Wow, we've covered a ton of ground. As we wrap up this deep dive into money fundamentals, what's the single most important thing you want our listener to take away today?
It's this. If you've made mistakes with money in the past, and let's be honest, who hasn't? You are not defined by them. You are not alone.
So important to hear that.
The crucial thing is that you're here now. You're listening. You're choosing to learn and engage today. That's incredibly powerful. Your past doesn't dictate your future. You're starting from right here, right now. That's a position of strength.
Love that. Okay, so let's quickly hit those key action steps again, just to really anchor them, things people can start doing.
Absolutely. Let's recap. Really get the basics how money works. Start saving and investing early, even small amounts. Know the difference between good and bad debt. Diversify those investments.
Don't put all eggs in one basket.
Right. Create a simple budget. Track your spending awareness. Set those clear, smart goals. Cultivate that positive, resourceful money mindset. Build consistent financial habits, daily and weekly.
Consistency over perfection.
Explore creating multiple income streams. And finally, share what you learn. Teach it to others.
Fantastic summary. So, to everyone listening, you've got the insights now. You really are the author writing your own financial story.
That's right.
It's about making those conscious choices, building those habits day by day, and creating a future where you're in control, a future of real freedom.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And hey, keep learning, keep growing. We'll be here exploring more topics to help you on that journey.